Know those moments when something changes and it feels like an era is ending. Like something that was always there suddenly isn't. That's exactly what's happening right now with James Bond. The franchise has been in the hands of the Broccoli family for over 60 years. That's right, 6 whole decades. And now, Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson are stepping back. This is huge. Imagine watching your favorite sports team dominate for years, winning championship after championship, and then suddenly the owner, the coach, and the star player all leave at the same time. The Broccoli family didn't just oversee the franchise. They were the franchise. The James Bond we know, the suave, sophisticated spy who's been the face of action cinema for generations, exists because of them. But now things are about to change in ways we never expected. Think about your favorite movie franchise. Star Wars, Marvel, Harry Potter. What if the people who made them great suddenly walked away? That's what's happening with Bond. It all started in 1962 with Dr. No. Back then, Bond wasn't the juggernaut we know today. It was a risky project, something that could have flopped. But Albert Cubby Broccoli believed in it. He saw something special in Ian Fleming's books and made it his life's mission to bring James Bond to the big screen. And boy, did he succeed. Every Bond movie, from Sean Connery's classic Goldfinger to Daniel Craig's emotionally charged Skyfall, has had the Broccoli family's fingerprints all over it. Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson took over after Cubby passed away in 1996, ensuring that Bond stayed relevant in an ever-changing world. Without them, we might never have seen the grittier, more realistic Bond that Daniel Craig brought to life. We might not have gotten Casino Royale, a film that completely redefined what a Bond movie could be. Their leadership made sure that Bond didn't become outdated or repetitive. Instead, they pushed the franchise to evolve while staying true to its roots. Now, for the first time ever, Bond is moving forward without them at the helm. And that's a massive shift. Barbara Broccoli had one rule: quality over quantity. She wasn't in a rush to pump out new Bond movies just to make a quick buck. No, she wanted every Bond film to feel like an event, something special, something worth waiting for. And that's why we only got 5 Bond movies in Daniel Craig's 15-year run. Some fans found it frustrating waiting years between films, but looking back, it's clear why she made that choice. She protected Bond from being overexposed, from becoming just another action franchise churning out endless sequels. But now, Bond is in the hands of Amazon MGM. Massive corporations don't think like passionate filmmakers. They think in dollar signs. They think in content and output. They think, how can we make as much money as possible, as fast as possible? What happens to James Bond now? Amazon MGM now has the creative reins of the Bond franchise. That means they decide what happens next. They decide who plays Bond. They decide how many movies get made. They decide if we get spin-offs, prequels, or even a Bond cinematic universe. And that's concerning. Because while more Bond sounds great in theory, history tells us that too much of a good thing can lead to disaster. We've seen it happen before. Star Wars went from being an untouchable cultural phenomenon to feeling oversaturated. Marvel has started to struggle because of non-stop releases. Could the same thing happen to Bond? Under the Broccoli family, Bond was an event. Under Amazon MGM, Bond might just become another brand, another IP to milk for content. And that's not what James Bond is supposed to be. Barbara Broccoli fought hard to keep Bond unique. She made sure each movie felt like an experience. She took risks. Casino Royale was a massive risk, turning Bond into a grounded, realistic character. Skyfall took Bond's past and brought it to the forefront, something no other film had done before. Even No Time to Die dared to do what no other Bond movie had ever attempted. But what happens when the people making the decisions aren't die-hard Bond fans? What happens when the people calling the shots are looking at spreadsheets instead of scripts? Will we see a Bond cinematic universe, with spin-offs about M, Q, and Moneypenny? Will Bond become a streaming series, losing the prestige of the big screen? Will we get an American James Bond? There's so much that could go wrong. And the worst part? We might not even realize it at first. It'll happen slowly, subtle changes at first, then bigger ones. Before we know it, Bond might not even feel like Bond anymore. But here's the thing: Bond fans have power. You have power. The studio might own Bond, but the audience determines its success. If we support smart, well-crafted Bond films and reject cheap cash grabs, the studio will have to listen. So what can we do? Speak up. Let Amazon MGM know what we want. Demand quality storytelling. Support the right kind of Bond movies, the ones that stay true to the character, the legacy, the essence of what makes Bond Bond. Because once a franchise loses its soul, it's almost impossible to get it back. This is a turning point. A defining moment. Bond can either continue to be the gold standard of action cinema, or it can become just another franchise in an endless sea of content. The Broccoli family protected Bond for decades. Now it's up to us to make sure that legacy doesn't fade away. James Bond has always been more than just a movie character. He's an icon, a legend. And legends deserve to be treated with care. So the question is, will Amazon MGM do what's right for Bond? Or will they chase short-term gains at the cost of long-term greatness? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. The world is watching. And Bond, he deserves better. But what if Bond isn't just another character? What if he's a reflection of our times? Each Bond actor brought something unique. Sean Connery's smooth charisma, Roger Moore's playful charm, Daniel Craig's emotional depth. Every generation got the Bond they needed. So what does our generation need? Do we need another hyper-masculine action hero? Or do we need a Bond that evolves with us? The answer will determine the fate of the franchise. And it's not just up to Amazon MGM. It's up to all of us.